Hello, I'm Will Connolly, and I want to talk a little bit in this video about filming a performance piece, documenting four-dimensional work, a couple of things to think about when you're actually doing a video version of a performance piece. One of the initial things that is good to think about is your composition. What do you want overall your composition to be? Do you want a lot of things in the frame? Do you want a small, kind of close-in cropped frame? And we have the full background. In this case, it's just a white space, a white wall. If your performance piece focused in on a smaller motion or a smaller detail, let's say like motion of a hand perhaps, or foot motion, then you want to crop in and focus in on that specific part, or at least give us cutaways to different details that highlight that motion. It's up to you whether you want more sort of like handheld feel to your performance video, something that feels a little bit more immediate, or having a camera set up or composed on a tripod. I would say, when in doubt, start by having your camera set up on a tripod to capture the performance piece. If it doesn't work, you could always kind of take it off the tripod and follow the performer as you're documenting. All right, what should you wear during a performance piece? You want to have something that's simple enough that it doesn't distract the viewer's eye. So this long shirt that I'm wearing adds extra motion that might distract from the performance piece you want to do. So if you have like extra layers, anything that can kind of like flap around, you want to pare it down. I tend to recommend something really simple like a black shirt or a white shirt and jeans, something fairly neutral that we can just kind of look past. If you have a shirt that's brightly colored, like this one, again, visual distraction, the text on it may be a good message, but it doesn't really relate to what we want in the performance piece. So something like this wouldn't be a good idea unless perhaps your performance piece is strictly about nature. So a little distracting. Another shirt, perhaps it's a bad idea, something with an image that's going to catch people's eye and take attention away from the performative action. Like this bar mitzvah shirt I have from a friend from over 20 years ago. Not a good idea, doesn't relate to the performance piece that I want to do. When in doubt, again, keep it simple, just like I was saying with the background. Go with a neutral sort of color so that we focus on the action, we focus on the performance motion. Background and environment is an important factor in your performance documentation as well. It can change the way that the viewer reads your piece. Not every performance piece has to be done in a very simple sort of stark white background environment. It may make sense to take the camera outside. It may make sense to have the camera indoors, at the grocery store, in the woods. It's up to you, and I think that's one of the really nice things about filming a performance piece is you get to choose the environment in which we read that act, that performative act. You want to pay attention to gesture and body language when you're doing a performance piece. I tend to talk with my hands, I've noticed. You guys probably noticed this too. So you want to be very aware of what kind of signals you could be sending. A lot of times it's sort of unconscious, but through your body language. It's best to kind of keep it simple. If you're doing your performance piece and your hands are on your arms, on your body, it's going to communicate a very different message than if everything is very simple and kind of straight. Pay attention to body motion. A lot of it can be read in different ways that you're not aware of. It's very important when you're doing a performance piece, though, to avoid anything that perhaps is going to send a different message than what you're intending with the work. Think about your gesture, especially if it's a very sparse performance piece. Think about how every sort of slight motion or gesture could perhaps communicate other information to the audience member. Sometimes it's helpful to include audience members, especially if the performance involves participation. Then you may want to show, or at least start with a wide shot that shows a group of people in a space watching this performance piece, taking part in the performance piece. The way you film it is important as well. Whether you choose to do one long take or have it made up of several short shots, perhaps shots from different angles that are all sort of composited together into one performance video. The advantage of doing one long take is it gives a sense of accurate time. The performance is playing out as it was performed. It's especially good if you're doing an endurance piece, maybe filming it in one long take. Perhaps there's certain sections you can speed up or cut out, but if it's all one long take, it gives the viewer, gives the audience member a greater sort of sense of endurance and long duration time. You should think about the best way to document your performance, whether it's through a video recording or whether it's through a series of still images. A lot of the most famous performance pieces that we know about, really infamous performance pieces from the 60s and 70s, exist primarily in photographic documentation as still frames. So a piece like Joseph Boyd's I Like America, America Likes Me, it works really well in just still images. A lot of that is because he's working with very iconic costumes and materials, and it's, he did a performance piece with a wild coyote over a period of time in a room. You're able to learn different things when you have a still image. Sometimes if the work is very visually powerful, it can stand on its own as just a photograph. A photograph can be more succinct, certainly more concise than a video piece. And if you have all the key elements in the frame, you may not need to have a longer or full-length video of the performance piece. Video works especially if your performance is very much about motion and movement. If there's a lot of different elements in the frame, you may want to do a video. I tend to suggest filming your performance piece, having the video documentation as well as images. Maybe having a camera set to record the video piece and take still images, and then you have a lot of material to choose from when you're editing.